Hello students, welcome to a new class. So this class we are going to learn a new topic, that is immiscible liquids. Last class we have completed partially miscible liquids. Now we are going to learn about immiscible liquids, that means which do not mix up with one another. They are completely immiscible liquids. So kindly please put the side heading immiscible liquids. I think you know the meaning of immiscible, which do not mix up with one another, not even partially. So we can also call them as completely immiscible liquids, or simply you put the side heading as immiscible liquids. Okay students, have you written the side heading? Okay, and now underline it. Fine. Okay. So what exactly we should learn about these immiscible liquids? Students, when we observe at these immiscible liquids, for example, if we take a pair of immiscible liquids A and B in a beaker which do not mix and match with one another, this A, when we look at A, it has its own vapor pressure, and B liquid component, it has its own vapor pressure. Okay, so liquid A component, when we look at it, it exerts its own vapor pressure. So it does not depend on how much B is exerting vapor pressure, and B doesn't look at A how much vapor pressure it is exerting. So both the liquid components, they exert their own vapor pressures. Now if we want to know the vapor pressure of complete system, that means A plus B, then it will be equal to sum of vapor pressures of the two liquid components. That's what I have written here on the board, students. So that's the first sentence. Each liquid component exerts its own vapor pressure in an immiscible liquid pair, and hence the total vapor pressure of the immiscible liquids is the same as sum of vapor pressures of two pure liquid components. Okay students, understood? Suppose if we take two liquid components A and B, which are not at all mixing up with one another. So A, it has its own vapor pressure, B, it has its own vapor pressure. So if you want to know the vapor pressure of both A and B, then you should add the vapor pressure of A plus vapor pressure of B. Suppose if we denote vapor pressure of A as P naught A and vapor pressure of B as P naught B, then P naught A plus P naught B gives us the total vapor pressure of immiscible liquid pair. Okay, so that's what I have given. P is equal to P naught A plus P naught B, where P naught A and P naught B are the vapor pressures of A and B. Hope you understood the first sentence. Okay, now next, after this vapor pressure, we need to know about boiling point of a liquid. Suppose if I ask you, write down the definition of boiling point, immediately you will write down in the comment section, or you must be shouting at your places that the temperature at which the liquid boils. Okay, I mean that is the definition of 5th or 6th class. But now you are in BSc first year, and you are supposed to define boiling point of a liquid as the temperature at which its vapor pressure becomes equal to outside atmospheric pressure. Okay, so here I have written the boiling point of any liquid is the temperature at which its vapor pressure will be equal to outside atmospheric pressure. Okay. Now, so what we are learning about immiscible liquids. Immiscible liquids, we have seen, if we have taken two liquids A and B, the total vapor pressure will be equal to vapor pressure of A plus vapor pressure of B. Okay, you understood these 2 points. The definition of boiling point also you might have understood. Next comes, therefore, the system of two immiscible liquids. That means the system of two immiscible liquids, A and B. So together will boil at a temperature at which vapor pressure of A plus vapor pressure of B becomes equal to outside atmospheric pressure. Okay, so generally if we take a single liquid, students, boiling point of any liquid. For example, we have two liquid components. What are they? A and B. The boiling point of A, okay, becomes, the boiling point of A is the temperature at which vapor pressure of A becomes equal to outside atmospheric pressure. Okay. Boiling point of B is the temperature at which vapor pressure of B becomes equal to outside atmospheric pressure. Now, if you want to know the boiling point of A plus B, the total system of two immiscible liquid pairs, then it is the temperature at which vapor pressure of A plus vapor pressure of B becomes equal to outside atmospheric pressure. That's what I have put it down in the form of a sentence. Okay. First here you write down boiling point. Next comes, therefore the system of two immiscible liquids boils at a temperature. Boils at a temperature, nothing but boiling point, at which P naught A plus P naught B becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. Understood third point? Okay. Coming to the next point. The total vapor pressure of immiscible liquid pair means P naught A plus P naught B becomes equal to outside atmospheric pressure at a temperature which is lower than the boiling point of either of the two liquid components. Generally, what you must be thinking, suppose vapor pressure of A is 60 mm, vapor pressure of B is 70 mm. Total vapor pressure is how much? 60 plus 70, 130. Okay. Then, suppose if the boiling point of A is 60 degrees, boiling point of B is 70 degrees. You must be thinking, total A plus B boil at somewhere around 150 or 200 degrees centigrade, right? But no, it was observed that the boiling point of A and B is less than 60 and is also less than 70. That means it is less than the boiling point of either of the two liquid components. Let us know the reason for this. Now look here students, I have just given you a diagrammatic representation which you need not write at the point of, at the time of exam or in your notebook, just for your understanding sake. Okay, so this is the beaker where I have taken two immiscible liquids. They are named A and B. So we have seen A exerts its own vapor pressure, B exerts its own vapor pressure. Okay, if you want to know the vapor pressure of A and B, simply add vapor pressure of A plus vapor pressure of B. Now you know boiling point of a liquid. It is the temperature at which vapor pressure becomes equal to the outside atmospheric vapor pressure. Okay, and it was observed that the total vapor pressure of A and B becomes equal to atmospheric pressure, and that temperature was found to be less than the boiling point of either of the two liquid components A and B. So the reason for that I will tell you. Suppose students, look here, boiling point of A 60, boiling point of B is 80. So boiling point of A and B will be at around 50 degrees. It is less than A and it's also less than B. Okay. So the reason for this. Suppose I have taken two liquids. Can you see the difference between the two liquids? Here the molecules are far away from one another. Here the molecules are close to one another. Suppose I am trying to boil both the liquids. So this liquid can be boiled easily. Suppose if you apply some heat or give some temperature, what happens immediately as they are far away from one another, the molecular forces of attraction will be less, and so that they can be broken up easily and they reach to the surface. So what is the meaning? The molecules of the liquid, they are reaching to the surface means they are converting into vapor. As soon as they reach the surface, they convert into vapor, and whatever molecules are converted into vapor, they exert the vapor pressure. So within a short period of time, with using less amount of heat only, you can break the molecular attractions and the molecules reach to the surface and they exert the vapor pressure. And coming to this liquid, where all the molecules are close to one another, in order to break the attractive forces among the molecules, we need to heat it for more amount of heat is required. So much time is needed, okay, to break the attractive forces between the molecules. Then only after breaking the attractive forces, they reach the surface. Also students, keep that in mind. In such cases, only few molecules come to the surface. That means only few molecules exert vapor. The vapor pressure, if you observe, here it will be less compared to this liquid. Even if you heat it, few molecules only reach the surface. So here vapor pressure will be less. Here vapor pressure will be more. So less amount of heat is required. Vapor pressure is more and boiling point will be less. Here more amount of heat is required, but even then vapor pressure is less, boiling point will be high. More amount of heat is required. That means the temperature is high, at which the vapor pressure becomes equal to outside atmospheric pressure. So what do we understand from this? Boiling point relation and vapor pressure relation, if we observe, they both are inversely proportional. Okay, so boiling point of A and boiling point of A will be high when you add, and hence as these two are inversely proportional, so boiling point will be less when vapor pressure will be high. So this is the reason behind the principle, students. So students, you understood the relationship between boiling point and vapor pressure. Okay. So in an once again students, in an immiscible liquid pair, each liquid component exerts its own vapor pressure. Okay. And there is no mixing up of the two liquid components. Okay. That's why they are called as immiscible liquids. A is exerting its own vapor pressure, B is exerting its own vapor pressure. So the total vapor pressure equal to sum of the vapor pressures of two liquid components. So now vapor pressure of this system is high. As vapor pressure is high, the boiling point of the immiscible liquid pair will be low, as they both are inversely proportional to one another. Okay. So as vapor pressure increases, boiling point decreases, or we can say as boiling point is less, vapor pressure is high. And also I have given you an example taking two liquids having weak molecular forces of attraction and strong molecular forces of attraction, and how much of heat is required to to break the attractions of a liquid where the attractions are less, and how much heat is required to break the attractions where the attractions are strong. Okay, I hope you understood. Good. Now, so therefore boiling point is inversely proportional to vapor pressure. Okay, below write down one sentence, students. When vapor pressure is high, boiling point is low, and therefore boiling point of immiscible liquid pair is lower than boiling point of either of the two components. Okay, so what all we have learned, just put it in a form of a single sentence. Below write down. At the boiling point of the mixture. Which mixture? Immiscible liquid mixture. So at boiling point of immiscible liquid mixture, vapor pressure of each liquid component is proportional to number of molecules in vapor phase. Suppose if there are n moles of A and n moles of B, then vapor pressure of A will be proportional to number of moles of A, that is Na, and vapor pressure of B will be proportional to number of moles of B. Once again students, going back to this sentence, at the boiling point of immiscible liquid mixture, comma, what happens? At the boiling point, students. Okay, now we have calculated boiling point of A and B, which are the two immiscible liquid components. So what was observed? The vapor pressure of each liquid component is proportional to number of molecules. Okay, for example, if there are n moles of A and n moles of B in vapor phase, then vapor pressure of A is directly proportional to number of moles of A, let it be Na, and vapor pressure of B, that is P naught B, will be proportional to number of moles of B, that is Nb. Okay, so from this we can write this expression P naught A by P naught B is equal to Na by Nb. Why ma? Because they both are directly proportional. But number of moles is equal to weight by molecular weight. Therefore, P naught A by P naught B is equal to Na is equal to Wa by Ma. Nb is equal to Wb by Mb. Now, Wa by Ma by Wb by Mb. So, Mb goes up. Therefore, I have written directly ma, unnecessary. It is a waste of time. So, Wa by Ma into Mb by Wb. Okay. So, from this expression, write down below Wa by Wb. The ratio of weights of A and B is equal to vapor pressures of A and B into, vapor pressure of A by vapor pressure of B into Ma by Mb. From this expression we can write like this ma. The ratio of weights of A and B will be equal to vapor pressure of A by vapor pressure of B into molecular weight of A by molecular weight of B. Put it in a box. So, concluding sentence, write down students. It is clear that, below the expression write down ma. It is clear that the ratio of weights of A and B, so let's put that expression in the form of words. It is clear that the ratio of weights of A and B in vapor phase at the boiling point of the mixture is directly proportional to their vapor pressures and the molecular weights. Okay, just putting down the expression students in the form of words. So what are we writing? Ratio of weights of A and B, Wa by Wb is equal at the boiling point of the mixture, okay, is directly proportional to vapor pressures of A and B and molecular weights of A and B. Okay, so hope you understood the principle what we have learned under immiscible liquids. Okay, students. Now I am not going to repeat once again because anyways we are going to repeat it in the next topic. Okay, so next put the side heading steam distillation. Put the side heading steam distillation. Okay, students. Yes. So, as we have learned in the previous topic, here you can conclude that when an immiscible liquid mixture is heated, it will boil at a temperature at which sum of vapor pressures of the two liquid components becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. I think even in the middle of the night, if you wake up, you will be able to tell this principle. Okay. So, when an immiscible liquid mixture is heated, it will boil at a temperature at which sum of vapor pressures of the two liquid components becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. So, this comes from the definition of boiling point of a liquid, students. Okay, if you know that, you can write this point. Okay, now, as the total vapor pressure of the immiscible liquid pair is higher than the individual components. Suppose A vapor pressure 60 mm, B vapor pressure 70 mm, total vapor pressure of A plus B 130. So that's what written here. As the total vapor pressure of the immiscible liquid pair is higher than the individual liquid components, boiling point will be lower than either of the two liquid components. Why? Because vapor pressure is high means boiling point will be low as they are inversely proportional to one another. Okay. Now, students, this principle, which principle? As the total pressure of the immiscible liquid pair is high, boiling point of the immiscible liquid pair will be less than the boiling point of either of the two components. So this principle is used in the process of steam distillation. What is steam distillation? It is used for the purification of organic compounds having high boiling points. For example, here an organic compound by name aniline is taken whose boiling point is 183 degrees centigrade. Students, generally when we heat or when we are trying to purify the organic compounds, generally when they are heated, by the time they reach the boiling points, what happens, students, there occurs decomposition of the organic compound. Okay, so but we need to get the organic compound as it is. We don't want the decomposed organic compound. Okay, so therefore in such cases, the compounds like aniline whose boiling point is too high, it is mixed up with another liquid like water. So when we are mixing up these two immiscible liquids, aniline and water, and boil it, the liquid pair boils at a temperature which is less than the boiling point of aniline and even less than the boiling point of water. Okay, students, so here write down. This principle is used in steam distillation, which is used for the purification of organic compounds having high boiling points. For example, aniline 183 degrees centigrade, close the brackets. Such compounds are distilled at a temperature which is less than that of water. If you don't know the boiling point of water, please write down in brackets 100 degrees centigrade.
Diagram for steam distillation.
Students, so what is the process of this steam distillation? So we have taken an organic compound whose boiling point is high and mixed with water. So where this mixture of organic compound and water is taken? It is taken in a round bottomed flask, and this mixture of organic compound and water which is taken in a round bottomed flask is heated, students, with the help of a hot steam which is generated in a separate vessel. So that means you should understand this RB flask, one side it is connected to a vessel where steam is being generated. Now the steam or the hot vapors coming out from this vessel where steam is generated, they are allowed to pass into the RB flask or round bottomed flask in which the organic compound which is to be purified along with water is taken. Okay, now so what happens when we have when we are passing this hot steam into this RB flask? Okay, so it starts boiling. Before that, the RB flask, students, is connected to a condenser which is in turn connected to a measuring cylinder in order to collect the distillate. Okay, so the RB flask, what is there in the RB flask? Mixture of organic compound and water. Now this mixture is allowed to heat with the help of hot vapors coming from the vessel. Okay, so now the mixture starts slowly, it gets heated and the vapors coming out from the mixture in the RB flask, they are connected, they are allowed to pass into the condenser. What is the meaning condenser there? The vapors get condensed and the condensed liquid is further collected in the measuring cylinder. Once again, students, RB flask, what is taken? Mixture of organic compound and water. The organic compound which is to be purified without decomposition. This mixture is allowed to heat with the help of hot vapors coming from a vessel. Slowly the mixture starts getting heated and the vapors coming in the RB flask, they are allowed to enter into a condenser. The meaning of condenser itself is it condenses the vapors into the liquid. Now this distillate is allowed to collect in a measuring cylinder which is connected to the condenser. Okay, students, right. Now the vapor pressure of previously steam is coming means it is hot, you know that, right? when the liquid is heated, the steam or the vapors start coming from the liquid. So that steam has a vapor pressure. So the vapor pressure is added, of steam is added to water, to the mixture of organic compound and liquid, and before reaching its boiling point. So with the help of steam, this mixture is also heated now, students. This steam has some vapor pressure. So this mixture is also slowly getting heated. That means converting into vapor. So this vapor pressure is being added to the vapor pressure of the mixture of organic compound and water. And therefore, because of this, what happens is before reaching its boiling point, the organic compound boils without decomposition. So if the organic compound is alone, what we have to do? We need to heat it. But we are sending hot vapors into the RB flask. Already this hot vapors have some vapor pressure. So with the help of the heat coming from this steam, it is heated. So before even reaching its boiling point, the organic compound starts boiling without decomposition, and it is collected as a mixture of organic compound plus water, where it is collected in the measuring cylinder. And we are studying about immiscible liquid pair, students. That means the two are completely immiscible. So easily they can be separated using a separating funnel. Okay, so that's what I write down here. The liquid being insoluble in water can be separated with the help of a separating funnel. Have you written, students? Next, write down the amounts of organic compound and water after distillation are given by the amounts of organic compound and water after distillation are given by W1 by W2 equals to P1 by P2 into W1 by W2 equals to P1 by P2 into M1 by M2. Now below write down where W1 is weight of water after distillation, W2 weight of organic compound after distillation, P1 vapor pressure of water, P2 vapor pressure of organic compound, M1 molecular weight of water, M2 molecular weight of organic compound. Okay, students, this is all about steam distillation. So hope you understood the process of steam distillation and also the principle which is used in steam distillation. Okay, so draw a line till here. This is the answer for your steam distillation. So students, this is all for today's class. So we'll meet in the next class with a new topic. I think in the next class we will complete the chapter, that is solutions. That will be the last part of this unit, students. Okay, so we will meet in that class with that topic. Until then, take care, stay safe, and bye bye.